An official report has criticised Mayor of London Sadiq Khan over the departure of Met Commissioner Cressida Dick. The report says that Khan did not follow due process and it amounted to, quote, constructive dismissal of the Commissioner. Sadiq Khan himself says the report is clearly biased and ignores the facts. Here to join me now, I'm delighted to welcome Donna Jones, the Hampshire Police and Crown Commissioner. Donna, great to have you back on the show. So look, talk me through this a little bit, because it does look as though Sadiq Khan might have been a bit forceful when it came to Dick.
Yeah, I think there's two things here, Patrick. First of all, there's the performance of the Met Police. And secondly, there is this investigation carried out by Sir Tom Windsor, instructed by the Home Secretary. And I know, Tom, I've been at national policing boards with Tom at the Home Office with Priti Patel on a number of occasions. He's a very good, credible, honourable, experienced man working in the policing space for decades. And he has concluded that actually what's happened is effectively constructive dismissal, that there had been a number of events that had happened in the Met, but actually when it came to Sadiq Khan making that decision to get rid of Cressida, he in fact left her no choice. He gave her an ultimatum, which we understand was an hour, to get herself to his office in City Hall to go and meet with him and his deputy, because she hadn't turned up to a meeting earlier that day. And in fact, that has amounted to constructive dismissal. Now, what I would say as a Police and Crown Commissioner, as somebody who has a robust plan to hold my Chief Constable to account for the performance in my force, is he actually just masking his own failure as the Labour Mayor of London, which, let's not forget, every year, with the exception of COVID in 2021, every single year, crime in London has gone up under Sadiq Khan's watch. He has failed as the Mayor of London. People are dying needlessly on the streets of London because of him, and he used Cressida Dick as his scapegoat.
Yeah, that's right. And Cressida Dick did say, and has indeed said, that she felt, quite manipulated, pressurised, put on the spot when it came to Sadiq Khan doing this. He's got a bit of an odd role in all of this, though. One side, he likes to try and move the responsibility away from himself when it comes to being involved with the police at all. And then at the same time as well, he decides that he's got the power, essentially, to oust the serving head of the Met. I mean, does he need to make his mind up?
Top job. He's tried to convince us all that he can do it. He was also the shadow mayor for London, the shadow MP for London when he was the MP in Tooting. He had a special shadow responsibility in the Labour shadow government. So he knows London very well. He grew up in London. He comes from Tooting. He has got no excuse. And look, I'm not trying to excuse some of the failings in the Met, because like I said at the beginning, two problems here. One is the Met's performance, and that is a big beast. It's like trying to turn the Titanic round. But actually, Cressida Dick, the most senior police officer in Britain, actually very well regarded by the Home Secretary. I've been a meeting, sat 2 or 3 seats alongside Cressida opposite the Home Secretary on several occasions. Very well respected. She had a plan to turn things around. Yes, there were a number of awful events last year, including what happened with poor, tragic Sarah Everard and other women that, have come from the hands of serving police officers under her. They were shocking. And so actually, I'm not saying that Cressida is off the hook here. I'm not saying that this is all Sadiq's fault. It's not. But I have not seen a robust plan from him as the Mayor of London on how he is going to make the streets of London safer for the 11 million citizens that live there. And quite frankly, I don't think he's up to the job anymore.
Well, no, and there is that question mark as to whether or not people have lost confidence in Sadiq Khan. Can I just ask you, Donna, there's something that, for my money, is not raised often enough, and that is some of Sadiq Khan's previous roles of employment. He was involved in a legal capacity, anyway, with, the Nation of Islam. Now, when it comes to banning Donald Trump, trying to ban President Donald Trump as a serving president of the United States of America, Britain's greatest ally, from essentially coming to the capital, right? When you look at some of the people who Sadiq Khan has gone into bat for, who may have been close to the Nation of Islam, for example, pretty radical people, doesn't that scream a bit of a kind of hypocrisy, really, in a way?
Yeah, I mean, he has been probably the most political mayor of London for years. And look, Boris is a massive political figure. That his predecessor, he is outright, a right-wing politician. We get that. But I never felt with Boris that he overly used his overt political influence to further his own individual politics. I think he served the people of London and did what was right for London. But actually, what happened on that state visit by the President of America, regardless of whether people in this country think that Donald Trump is a good or a bad and should should have been the president or not. What happened in Trafalgar Square, you know, those things that Sadiq Khan allowed to happen across London, and many of the Labour councils that supported Sadiq's position, let's not forget the part that they've all played in this as well. It was an embarrassment to our country, and actually it did cause some diplomatic stir that had to be managed very carefully through the Foreign Office and, of course, through Number 10 as well.
Donna, thank you very, very much. Great to have you on the show. That's Donna Jones there, the Hampshire Police and Crime Commissioner. Lovely stuff. Thank you for taking the time out of your evening to get involved with Friday Night Feast. Yes, lots of stuff to get stuck into there. Calgie, I'll lob it over to you. Christine Calgie, senior reporter at Guido Fawkes. What do you make of, basically, I suppose, Sadiq Khan's Dick controversy?
Yeah, the problem is that I never want to, say anything other than the truth about Sadiq, but I'm going to censor myself. Cressida Dick was a shoddy leader.
This is what makes it tricky, right?
Police.
This is why it makes it tricky.
So the problem is, I don't think anyone disagrees with getting rid of her. Now, he clearly didn't follow the right procedure, which is in itself shoddy. But ultimately, the right decision was arrived at. I think, we're still waiting on the Met to sort themselves out. And it's not just a case of a few rotten apples. I mean, every day we see examples of the, racist WhatsApps, and Sarah Everard, and a Metropolitan Police officer was caught doing something indescribable in a public park. And I just think that London is being badly let down. And the real frustration here is, I think, mayors in this country have great ability to do things when they work with government. And I'm from Teesside. And there's the Teesside Mayor, Ben Houchen, has done unbelievably good things for the area in a very short amount of time. And we've had Sadiq Khan for however many years, and London has gone backwards in every single one of those years. And it's just disheartening to see what's happening to this city.
Well, it is. And we've got a lot to rattle through on this show. So I'm just going to move the conversation on slightly now, move away from that Sadiq Khan issue, really, which was that basically, I suppose, he might have put massive undue pressure on Cressida Dick to go. What do you make of this, of course? But